Am I tripping on acid? What is happening? Welcome back to We Sims. You guys, today we are covering episode 2 of the third day. Before we get into the takeaways, don't forget to like this video. If you like this video, comment, subscribe. Let me know any theories that you have because this show is straight up trippy and, well, I guess we're gonna talk about it. I changed the angle a little bit. This show is so strange. I mean, I get such intense Shutter Island vibes, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. Okay, so biggest takeaway number 1. In this episode, we learn more about Sam's history with the island. I was correct, ladies and gentlemen. The son that he's always talking about did die. His son died near the OC, which is the name of the island. So every year he goes back and puts a piece of his son's clothing in the river. So he's like letting go a piece of his son one piece at a time. He said every year, but it's only the 1 year anniversary when we meet him first. So that's something to consider. I don't know if something's being played around with time. I think yes, but I can't confirm that. So just a gentle prediction. Another weird thing about Sam's relationship with the OC Island is that his grandfather was stationed there and the island always freaked him out and he didn't really talk about it. And every time Sam or someone brought it up, he would like get the skeevies and be weird about it. This episode and in the first episode, he talks about how he feels like he's been there before, and we get confirmation of that from Mimir. They call him the archaeologist because he digs up dirt on people's past. Mimir tells him, "What did we do to you?" 1, that confirms that Sam has been to the island before. 2, Mimir said, "What did we do?" So he must have done something to Sam as well. Getting into biggest takeaway number 2, Sam and Jesse's relationship steams up in this episode. The episode kind of begins with him waking up in bed with her in the nude. Safe to say they did the deed. Throughout the episode, you can see them kind of bonding. We learn more about Jessie's story and why she's on the island. I think Jessie is a plant. She thinks the island is great. She thinks that people are great. Yeah, they do some creepy, cultist, weird stuff, but you know, they're good people. That's a red flag. But anyway, she talks about her relationship with her husband. She kind of was depressed after their first child and she was trying to run away, but then she accidentally got pregnant and then she had to stay. In essence, she's been kicked out. She loves her daughters, but her husband won't really let her see them. Also in this episode, Sam and Jessie, they kind of have a heart-to-heart. We learn about the death of Sam's son, Nathan, because he's telling Jessie, so she's clearly someone that he's developed a trust with. She's just a little off to me, and she's the only other outsider on the island with him. So if he is hallucinating all of this stuff, I think she is some sort of weird representation of his consciousness or something. Even at the end of the episode, she slips him acid, and I'm like, does a good friend do that? Biggest takeaway number 3, and I think the most annoying thing about this episode. After learning all of this information about the island and its history and whatnot, Sam decides to stay on the island another night. He lies to his wife and stays. And I think a lot of that has to do with Jessie. Why else would he be staying? He learns that they're like occultist people. He thinks they're sacrificing children or something strange is going on because Epona kills herself in the same spot that his son died or disappeared in. He finds out that Epona's little brother died on the island. So all these kids are dying. He's seeing all these ripped out guts, animals and stuff. He also is seeing visions of Epona stretched out, ripped up and gutted, which I think is strange because he's saying it's Epona, but all that we see at the beginning of this episode is him with his guts all out and open. So I think that's peculiar, something to note. Yeah, so the weird scarecrow looking people are chasing him through the woods like a handful of times. All of these people are trying to tell him that he's crazy. And after all of that, he decides to stay. And I think that is evidence that he is having some sort of psychotic break. I like him. He seems like a good guy. I don't think what he's seeing is what's actually happening. I don't think there's a possibility of what he's seeing actually being reality. Jess, not Jessie, makes note that the OC was a place for a bunch of hippies and criminals, and he's like, oh, sounds great, I want to stay. Hippies are great. Criminals? What? The what did I call them last week? The sub takeaways. 1, we keep seeing a giant grasshopper. What do you guys think the grasshopper symbolizes? Sub takeaway number B, let's not pretend that I know my left from my right. Throughout this episode, there is a lot of comments on rage and grief. Epona's father in the woods tells him, I just want to rip flesh, my sadness, blah. Grief, rage, and violence in this show. Yeah, guys, so I think that's it. As I said before, like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to comment and subscribe. I will be covering the 3rd day every Monday night, so keep it parked here for your review on that. Christopher is covering Raised by Wolves, and our sister channel, the Letterquente Ledger, is covering The Boys. Zach is doing that from his basement. Yeah, so I think